Hello and welcome to Bring a Girl Child to Your Collection Day, episode 1. This is Steve from GI Joburg and the lady who he managed to convince to marry him. Her name is...
Hello, I'm Kim. Which camera am I looking at?
Look at the wide one, baby.
Okay. Hiya, I'm Kim.
And it was suggested here on YouTube by a commenter that I give a couple of toys to my wife and get her honest opinions on them. Our first item.
Are they all GI Joes?
Maybe.
I know very little about GI Joes.
I'm selecting from my mystery box.
A mystery.
A classic.
Mystery box. Hey.
Who's that?
He looks... Does Camel work in like desert areas?
I think that's what Camo's designed to do.
Like in desert, I thought Camel was meant to be like green and brown. Like strictly camo, green, brown, jungle, like, you know.
I think if you are hunkered down behind a rock or crouching behind the sand dunes in the desert environment, I think being in a tan outfit might help.
That's cool. It's
What's
like,
cool?
Got
Show the camera, love.
It's got the fabric. It's got fabric.
Yeah?
Like, I thought this was gonna be like just straight up piece of plastic.
Yeah, some
So
mixed
it's got,
mediums, some soft goods.
Texture. It's great.
Oh, is that very fashionable?
I'll say. So he's obviously a desert savannah person.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Would it surprise you to know he has the very appropriate code name of Dusty?
He's always dusty. Because he's in like dust storms and I don't know. What other weather phenomenon happens out there?
So, moving head to toe, what do you think of the face sculpt?
You know, he's got like a camo like face paint. No?
Yeah, bravo. I'd agree with you.
I mean, they've really just coloured in the pupil. They've not really done much else with the, you know, the outside, the whites of the eyes. But I mean, if we're strictly speaking with the whites of the eyes, the side that's got the, I guess, the dark brown paint over the eye itself. I mean, his entire eye is brown, except for a touch of black.
I suppose there were limitations to the amount of paint applications or the intricacies of the paint applications back in 1985. Would you believe this toy predates you by 5 years?
Woo! It's old. What I'm more interested in is what does good old Dusty have in his backpack?
Well, let's take a look a little bit at the backpack. I mean, for the viewers, just a refresher. It's a nice soft bag with 2 canteens of water on the outside.
Oh yes, that's important. He's not a camel.
Indeed.
I'm not gonna feed him salt, grow 2 humps.
But you're wondering what other accessories he packs in his bag.
Yeah, man. Like, what would he have in his backpack? Like, it's obviously sculpted in a way that it looks very full.
Yes.
And it's like the straps at the top suggest that it really had to be kind of like pushed in and pulled down, you know, to actually close.
Is this something that you are all too familiar with, Kim?
Yeah.
Trying to get your luggage to close.
I pack my luggage like I intend on shitting myself 3 times a day.
What a lady.
What a lady. Yeah,
So,
this is a cool figure.
Are you speculating as to what is in his bag, or has that come to an abrupt end?
I mean, clothing, I mean, I don't know, like, if I were to go camping, which I'm sure he's not camping, but, you know, I'm sure I pack, like, a change of clothes, you know, maybe I would pack a change of underwear, but I don't know about you boys. Flip it inside out and use it again. But...
What about rations?
Rations, like, you know, those... I think I like to watch videos on YouTube about, like, people, like, non-army people trying out army rations. It's like various ways of, like, making something last forever and yet still taste somewhat edible. Like, your standards get low real quick. Is it edible? Yes. Is it nutritious? Yes. All right then.
Well, I imagine he's a desert survivalist
Oh,
by
he probably has
trade.
things like things to set to make a fire, like survivalist things, like maybe. Oh, he's got sunglasses up here. Okay, I was gonna say maybe he's got like a spare set of shades because it's bright and sunny, but he's got them on his head.
Sunglasses or goggles. I mean, in a desert environment, if the winds kick up a sandstorm, best believe you're going to need eye protection. Dusty, he possesses that.
Very good.
Any other notes you have on the uniform?
No? He's got these like little symbols on him, but I don't know what they're supposed to mean.
Ah, yes. Still, fine details like that are always welcome, wouldn't you say? That adds a nice kind of visual intrigue to an otherwise very, very plain Jane figure.
His gun's got that little stand thing, which is cool. It's like for snipering.
You can remove the accessories if you like.
You can is it called snipe? I'm sure I'm not getting any of these terms right. Snipering.
Sniping.
Ah, sniping. Okay.
Yeah.
I just assume sniper.
Well, close enough. So yeah, it's an automatic weapon or an assault rifle with a bipod. This isn't the original bipod. Those are quite premium items to get on the aftermarket. So this is actually courtesy of Marauder Inc. But it is a French gun. Would you believe that?
Why is he French?
This is something that I find contentious. Dusty is American on his file card, his original GI Joe file card. And his birthplace is Las Vegas, Nevada. Of course, I mean, it's not the most original place to call your birthplace in Nevada, but he was from Sin City. But he spent a lot of his time growing up in the desert. He actually was a refrigerator repairman in his sort of civilian life.
Funny enough, someone who spends a lot of time in hot, dusty weather conditions is a refrigerator repairman.
Well, there are theories that abound about the mundane secondary specialties of GI Joes. Like, a lot of people say those were just written in as kind of cover stories because you've got these extremely specialized, extremely dangerous individuals, all possessing specialities, secondary specialities in accounting or being a finance clerk or air conditioning. The truth of the matter with Dusty is he's actually an expert linguist.
Hey!
Speaks a lot of desert exclusive languages, Middle Eastern languages.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I
he's
like
the
that.
guy you want to have in your unit when you are heading into a desert environment, definitely.
Yeah.
Any
man.
conflict spots in the Middle East, Dusty is an asset, both for infantry and intelligence gathering.
Oh, that makes up for his otherwise quite plain Jane appearance, I must say.
How would you rate him out of 5?
What is my criteria?
Anything you like. At this point, we're setting the rules.
Ooh.
Character, appearance,
Backstory.
that X factor.
So appearance, backstory, that that little kind of like specific skill or talent that they have that makes them like a asset to the team, other than just any.
Gosh, this is
little
becoming a
story.
lot more than just about the toys.
Well, I like the backstory. I mean, like looking at this toy, his cup isn't that special. It's got like compared to some of the other toys that you've had that I've seen before, it doesn't have any other kind of special things about his uniform. He's not carrying anything special other than a cool backpack that may contain 4 pairs of underwear.
I'm thinking a little bit more practical than that.
But his backstory and his special skill is cool. That's very cool. Makes him more cool than I would like. Without the backstory, he probably maybe a 3.
Okay.
But with the backstory, makes him a solid 4.
A solid 4. Well, he's one of my all-time favorites, and that makes me a happy boy too.
Why is he your favorite?
I guess I like the anonymity of him. He could be anything. He could be American, boy from Nevada, or he could be ex-French Foreign Legion, as evidenced by his predilection towards French weapons.
I mean,
It could go either way.
this kind of headgear, as you would, it's really. I don't think I've ever seen it on many. I mean, it's very reminiscent of Middle Eastern garb.
Yeah, it's called a Havelock.
Havelock.
Yeah, and now you know. It's just a kind of fabric tucked into the band of his helmet.
Very cool.
But what's nice about him, and getting back to the anonymity, is that like the head sculpt is so indistinct because of the camo paint. It really could be anyone. And that's always a turn on for me because, you know, phrasing. It always intrigues me about a character because you can imprint upon this guy. This guy could be you. Anyway, let's move on to our next figure, shall we? Yes. We're now flipping the script to the 90s. Ooh, the neon 90s.
Oh, far out. What the?
It's Snake Eyes version 4 from 1991. And he's got a few more bits and pieces.
I mean, if I thought this was, you know, plain, you swung the other extreme and gone, well, she did say it was plain, I'll give her. I mean, did Snake Eyes always look like that?
Some people call this paintball Snake Eyes.
Oh, yeah,
because of the paintball mask. But
I can definitely see that.
To me, this is, well, the first Snake Eyes that I got any decent amount of playtime with. I had version 3, and he disappeared shortly after I first got him, never to be seen again. I think some child used a 5-finger discount on that figure.
See, this one's got a few more extra details than you know. I guess maybe because this Dusty's outfit is what I expect of, like, you know, a soldier, practical, functional. It's, you know, it's got pockets where I need them. Like, I struggle with too many pockets, but this guy, on the other hand, he's got shit on his chest that I don't even know what it's used for. What is it a vest?
It's a little bit of everything. I imagine there's, well, yeah, tricky to say.
So is he actually wearing a blue suit and then with a vest with like a bulletproof vest over the top, and then, like, you know, that's just to kind of hold his additional ammunition, maybe a few grenades? Is that what it's all about?
Yeah. They would call these, I think, web gear, which would be the last thing you put on, and it has all the pouches for utility stuff, like magazines for your weapon. Yeah, that is a thing. And
magazines for your weapon. Yo, I thought you were saying, like, oh, you know, what he's, you know, waiting to shoot someone. I'm getting a bit bored. Let me pull out my Hello magazine.
What a noob.
Hey.
Yeah, so you want to have your magazines located close to hand.
Why do you call the magazine?
Because clip is an outdated term.
Okay.
The clip would be, correct me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't clips be the things that you load into the M1 Garand automatic rifle?
I know nothing about GI
Not
Joburg.
Automatic, it's a semi-automatic
or
rifle.
Weapons. Very cool, yes.
So yeah, that's Snake Eyes version 4. He's got some interesting, like, Eastern flair on his greaves. He's got these symbols.
Dragon-esque.
Is it dragon-esque?
Snake Eyes is meant to be in, like, ninja? Or is that Storm Shadow only?
Snake Eyes studied at the same martial arts dojo as Storm Shadow.
Wait, is Snake Eyes one of the baddies?
Snake Eyes is always hailed as the hero, but he's a rather tragic character. Yeah, he's I mean, Storm Shadow is kind of painted as the bad guy, but the truth is, the more sophisticated story is, of course, Storm Shadow was on the outs of his family's dojo because he was framed for his uncle's murder. And Snake Eyes made it his job to track him down.
Wait, I thought was that not part of the plot that I did for Bad Luck Lady?
Yeah, started that.
Hey.
Yeah. But we never got as far as introducing Storm Shadow.
Cool. Whoa!
Whoa! What happened?
Okay, I knew that was gonna do that, but where's the extra bit that? Ooh, I like these.
You like the spring-loaded backpack?
Shit, yeah. Pew! Oh no, it's not working now. Oh, pew!
You just gotta pull it back.
I'll pull it back, not push it out. Okay, cool.
So these accessories are much maligned by adult collectors.
Why?
But I am of a vintage that remembers a time when these were the most fun things.
Wow!
I guess it bridged the gap between more imaginative toy collectors or toy players like myself and the more sort of middle-of-the-road kids who just enjoyed getting an action feature with their figure. But the fact that this one had a rope attachment to it made it fun, particularly for Snake Eyes, who was scaling buildings with it all the time. He was kind of hanging from places and rappelling down.
It's a grip hook.
Grip hook?
Is it not?
Grapple hook?
Grapple hook?
Hey, very good.
Same but different, you know?
So it takes his backpack and gives it a feature. What do you think of the gun?
I don't know about what's this part of the gun called?
I think that's a suppressor.
Ah.
So it's to mask the sound and possibly the muzzle flash of the weapon. But this weapon itself, I don't know what it is or meant to be.
Why is everything so, like, sickly neon?
It was our decade, baby.
That
it was
is
the
true.
90s, and in order to steal back attention from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Toxic Crusaders and whatever other neon toys it shared the shelf with, GI Joe felt the need to introduce these colors, just to add that kind of visual flair. Now, that's the theory, at least. That they were following a trend instead of setting the trends, which they did so successfully throughout the 80s. Anything you'd like to add about the accessories before we rate this guy and move on?
I mean, he's got a lot of accessories, but it's almost too many accessories.
Man's only got 2 hands, correct?
Like, I'm assuming these would go in, like, I don't know, some cross fashion across his back. But then where would this sit?
Yeah, in an earlier time, those would probably be worn in a sheath on his backpack.
That keeps scaring me.
But unfortunately, we're dealing with an accessory or sort of a feature-laden backpack, so they didn't sculpt additional points onto which the swords might fit. That would have probably really helped the backpack accessory, you know, being more integrated into the figure. Because right now, you know, if you're not a fan of spring-loaded weapons, it's the quickest thing you forget about.
Yeah.
And you probably would arm him differently anyway if you wanted to avoid the neon stuff.
I mean, it's cool that his face mask also has fenestration for breathing. That's cool.
Of course. Yeah.
Ventilation. Though in today's COVID era, you know, it would do fuck all.
So, how does he stack up next to Dusty in terms of a rating? And knowing what you know about Snake Eyes, I mean, in terms of character, I think they're dead even.
I don't know if I know as his backstory gets a bit convoluted and confusing for me.
Yeah,
Snake
this
Eyes'
is a
story.
common criticism of Snake Eyes. There's way too much of him in continuity. It was better when he was more of a mystery.
And it feels like Snake Eyes is probably Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow are probably one of the few characters that I ever heard about with GI Joe, because people just talk about it so much.
So, divorcing character completely. If we were taking them just on toy...
Play value?
Well, play value, the appearance, the accessories. Relative to Dusty, who, without character, you said he was a solid 3.
Yeah.
What does this version of Snake Eyes get?
I would have to look at the original version of Snake Eyes. I'd be very curious to kind of...
compare them.
Yeah, knowing what I know about like what Snake Eyes is meant to look like. I'm like, is this too much?
Well, your blunt opinion as
it's got
of recording.
It's got lots of good playthings. I like the fact that it's got a spring-loaded grapple hook. I mean, that's fun. It's always fun to try and take an eye out. Woo! But this guy would probably get I give him 3.5.
Has the edge on Dusty.
Yeah.
Upset.
What? Why?
I
mean, like, look, the colors are cooler.
You like them.
Oh yeah, man.
So
I'm a big fan of blue.
When Snake Eyes doesn't wear all black, it's still okay in your eyes.
Or is he meant to wear all black? Oh, he's ruined it now.
Well, in the classic interpretation of the character, I mean, you spoke about his first version. It was actually a cost-cutting measure. They released an all-black figure with no paint apps.
Oh yes, you mentioned that. Like white figures were more expensive to make.
Well, no, figures that had multiple paint applications were more expensive. Okay. So they decided to have an additional figure in the line who was all black.
Just by, I think the 3.5 is purely but for the fact that when you pulled it out of the box, I was just like, whoa, what the F? What the heck is this?
Okay.
That I think is what gives it that half a point more.
So even after all these years, the neon touches of a Snake Eyes figure still excite someone who's never seen them before.
I don't know if it.
I think I rest my
I don't
case.
know if it excites me.
Well,
I don't think. I think excite is just like pushing it. I think it's more. It did its job of being a wow factor, but not all wows are good. If you see someone get shot, you'd be like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, we're putting them away. Figures aside, it's time for the curveball. You came to a GI Joe channel, right? Well, time for an upset. What do you make of that?
I do know what that is because you asked me what I thought of it the other day. It's an A-wing, which I know that you've got quite a lot of history with an A-wing. Like,
Do I know?
yeah, I've heard
This isn't about me, babe. What do
I
you
know,
think
but
of
I've heard you grumble about the A-wing one too many times that it's almost sort of colored my opinion of it.
Okay, well let's be objective and take a look at the features.
I do know that you like this toy so much so that after you bought one for your dear friend Robert, you went and bought another one for yourself.
Indeed.
And this, in fact, you had one which you were like, this is a piece of shit. And then you went and bought one that you really liked.
In the Toys R Us closing down sale here in Townsville, North Queensland, I went out and bought at a vastly reduced price the Last Jedi Tally with A-Wing fighter and Force Link feature, whatever, and was thoroughly disappointed at how they'd kind of shrunken it down. Without actually changing the proportions of the A-Wing, it just was less substantial. It was wafer thin, very light, very cheap feeling. Tally was a nice figure for a 5 points of articulation figure. But the A-Wing just did not feel substantial enough, and it's a very slight craft to begin with. So for it to feel even less than this, I felt cheated. Because I had brushings with this Power of the Force 2 version. Like you mentioned, I bought one for Rob, and ever since I've had kind of an A-Wing shaped hole in my collection. Another feature I'm going to draw your attention to, other than the opening and closing canopy switch, is the fact that the landing gear retract. It snags a little bit. The linkages are quite brittle and prone to breakage, so you need to give it a bit of hand support. But then it makes for a very clean starfighter.
I mean, I've always
Okay, included action figure.
Is he somebody?
You could say that, or he could be nobody. There is a named A-Wing pilot, guy called Arvel Krynide, if you will. He's the guy who crashed into the bridge of the Superstar Destroyer, the Executor, Darth Vader's personal flagship. And that caused it to lose control and then plummets into the second Death Star. He was the guy flying the ill-fated A-Wing that crashed.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But I think
or it could just be a random A-Wing pilot. That's the fun of it.
What's also cool is that he's a very generic figure. Like you said, it could be that guy, it could be any guy. But despite it, and the generic feel and look of the figure itself certainly lends itself to play of like it could be anyone. But they have put in some effort into kind of, putting in a few details in the sculpt, be it this, like the ridges in the top of the head, right there. I don't know if they're meant to kind of feel like it's like a soft helmet, almost like the ones that the rugby lads wear, like
Scrum caps.
That's
it.
Looks ridiculous.
I'm sure it has a very important function.
I mean, yeah, it stops them from having cauliflower ears.
I don't know if it succeeds in that, but yeah, certainly good protection for your noggin.
But they certainly look like they put in some, like the detail into it, like being I don't know what these things are meant to be, like these these side panels? Are they meant to be like headphones?
Yeah.
Like
In
communicators.
Star Wars, I think red or blue sort of shiny things equal technology. So you'll see some on his chest, you'll see some on his helmet or head cover, cap, whatever.
And then, you know, also that.
Those pieces are established, I think, in Star Wars canon as being wrist communications.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you tap it and you'd be able to speak into them.
They don't come up with like a little holographic projection, do they?
Who knows? This guy didn't get enough screen time to establish
like
that.
Like R2-D2 with Princess Leia.
But it's a pretty basic flight suit. I will pay close attention to the fact that, okay, these guys from Power of the Force 2 are often maligned for being really buff. And as you can see, he's got quite a broad chest. But if you compare biceps with old Snake Eyes, yeah, GI Joe is edging him out big time.
Yeah, man, that's just poor form. Now that you mention
Making Snake Eyes barrel chested.
Now that you mention it, that bicep, like, he's got teeny tiny deltoids, which is that, you know, that bulky muscle up here, and massive biceps. Like, that's.
Are you rethinking that 3.5?
Only because I don't like anatomically not accurate figures. 3.25.
Oh gosh, 3.25. Does that bring Dusty's score up a bit? Or is he still sitting at 4? Or is it 3?
He has the advantage of having like baggy outfits that you know, like these kind of uniforms are not designed to be tight fitting, and they're meant to be. And the fabric is often more khaki.
Even so, if he is wearing a loose fitting outfit, surely his bicep measurement or his arm size should be bigger than Snake Eyes, who's wearing
I think
tight.
that lends itself to Dusty's backstory, that he's someone that, you know, runs around the desert. He needs to be lean. He can't be carrying too much bulk on him, you know. And it's hot.
Though I don't think Snake Eyes has ever been billed as a bodybuilder. He's also, I mean, his backstory in the plainest terms is he was a long-range recon patrolman in Vietnam.
I mean, look at that calf muscle.
He's stacked.
He's stacked.
All right. Anyway, action figure physiques aside, what are you rating the A-Wing?
It's a substantial toy. I like that it feels bulky. Like if you drop it, I mean, if you drop it in the floor, you know, there's some parts of it that probably will crack. But like this, the body itself, like it's solid.
I think the sculpt itself, the mold, comes from 1985. If I'm not mistaken, it's the Droids animated television series is where this mold comes from. This particular pressing of it was in the 90s, I think 95, where they added fabulous amount of paint applications to give it a lot of weathering, damaged panels, discolored panels.
I've always liked that about Star Wars vehicles, and I don't know if GI Joe vehicles ever do the same thing. I can't remember. Maybe I've just not seen enough. But they always give them a little bit of.
GI Joe vehicles are typically a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
Their details come from
the actual
stickers.
And the sculpt work as well with, you know, the, I don't know what you call it, the mesh work and the seats, and also like the center console with like little buttons and
there's a
joystick.
sharpness to the details, and there are a lot of them.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly the sculptors on this wanted to impress. But the Snowcats, which is this vehicle, might be under discussion another day once it's completed.
But this one, I've always liked the fact that it's got, like, they've always put in kind of the paint job always has details. Like, if you think about the AT-AT with, you know, the mud around its hooves and its legs. Hooves.
So what are we rating the A-Wing?
It's not as cute as, you know, the X-Wing.
Oh, I thought it was way cuter. I mean, look at it, it's so dainty. It even looks like an A.
The X-Wing is sexy. The X-Wing is sexy. It's the one that's most well known because...
They say, ladies and gentlemen, that in every relationship there's the sexy one and the lucky one. It's up to you to decide.
But no, this is...
So this is not cute.
No,
the
it is
X-Wing
cute.
is cute. This is cute.
I think
the X-Wing is sexy.
It's cute because it appeals to my very functional, very practical side of me. I'm all about practicality, like, and this shape,
Cute practicality.
like, it's
Bit
cute.
of a non sequitur, isn't it?
No, like, cute is subjective. Cute is subjective, and it's cute to me because it's functional, it's practical. Look at it.
Alright, so out of 5, what does cute get this?
Cute gets this a solid 4.
Nice!
I like these, you know, I like the fact that they've
made them transparent.
yeah, they made it transparent.
Ooh, well, I think those cones being transparent,
cones, that's what I was thinking. They look like ice cream cones.
I think that hails from an earlier time when this mold actually had electronic lights. That's a battery cover, but
it doesn't have any battery.
on this version, this later issue of the A-Wing, those electronics have been rooted out. Yeah.
I like that it's got the like the
Give it a
control, the control
Push
panel.
forward. Hey, she did it.
Are those stickers or are those actually painted on?
Those are stickers.
Oh, cool. Very cool. I see that you didn't put the stickers on upside down this time round.
I think those might have been factory applied. Might have been. No, hang on. Yeah. In the 90s, did they do it for us? Or did we still get to do
On
it?
this one?
Yeah, those were also probably on the sticker sheet.
Are these like do not stand on?
Maybe. Or maybe they're just to let maintenance crews know what those hatches are meant to depict, what you'll find under there.
See, I already tried to push that down by myself.
But this is a detail that is on the actual model used in Return of the Jedi. So faithfully replicated on this toy. I think you'll pull it back.
I know, but like even before pulling it back, I already had like that first instinct to like smoosh it down.
Give it a bash, baby. Give it a bash. Yeah. So it's not the smoothest mechanism. Might require a little bit of an oiling, but it's there. So we like that.
We like that.
We like that. Otherwise, you know, the canopy like this would often flap around if you inverted it. So the fact that it's got a little bit of friction,
that's true.
always handy thing to have.
Very
little
cool.
bit of friction.
Little bit of friction.
And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 1 of Bring a Girl Child to Your Collection Day. This is Steve from GI Joburg and...
I'm Kim.
Kim, this is our 2-pack. And you have been the audience and you've been great. I love you. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for part 2 coming soon.